Hello everybody, this is Sheldon from Sheldon Art. Welcome to my channel, and I am doing another episode of Perspectives in Paint Pouring. I got my Baltimore Ravens hat here because I just want to represent the town. And I'm doing a straight pour with boulder cells. And I learned this from an artist named Teal DecoArt. I'm sure you've heard of her. And so this is the final piece, and this is how those boulder cells came out. I love the way that turned out. So I'm going to get you to the canvas. Now it's not as perfect, or it's a similar color palette, but it just has more cells. But I think for my first try, I did pretty well. I can hold it like this, or you can hold it any orientation you want. But this is a 14 by 14 inch, and I'm going to be doing this, showing you how I made this particular pour, and I'll be explaining to you some of the things that you need to keep in mind in order to get this technique. So let's get over to the canvas, and I'll show you exactly how I made this pour inspired by Teal DecoArt. Hello everybody, this is Sheldon from Sheldon Art. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to another episode of Perspective in Paint Pouring. And of course, this is a collaboration that was started with Britta Clayton, Lance Travis, and myself. It starts on Saturday mornings, well, Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I'm thinking about doing this pour that I was inspired by Teal DecoArt. Now, I don't have exactly all the brands she used, but I was just so moved by the effects of what this did. This is a spiral straight pour, and so just let me get started, because she's just a wonderful artist, and I don't know how she's able to make these nice boulder cells, so I just had to try it for the first time, and I hope I do it some justice. And this is kind of like my year of inspiration. I'm going to be finishing out the year of doing paintings and pourings that I found that different artists had inspired me to do. I've already done deconstructed blooms. I've done a flower dip from Fiona. Just different things that I've seen different artists do. Dump and Swirl by Dwight Myers from Dwight Pours, and some of the cloud pours that I've done because I was inspired by, pearl pours, because I was inspired by Elise Fournier. So now I'm going to do my Teal DecoArt inspired. I even use some colors that's close to what she has, but not the same. But I try to stick with the brand. So she mentioned about hydrophobic reaction. And so her first paint was the Liquitex Basics. That's this here, this Pyrolle Red. Which I don't know what kind of red she had, but she did have Liquitex Basics. And then she had DecoArt and DecoArt. And she said that DecoArt dries a little bit more matte than the Liquitex Basics, which is less matte. So you put the two together, the reaction is that the one color resists the other color and makes those cells kind of push away and open up bigger. And it's kind of like the same way, in actuality, it's kind of like the same way that when I do the dump and swirls, this top coat kind of has the same effect as some of the DecoArt paints that I use for the other colors as well, which makes those nice, beautiful cells come up. Very important. It's not in the camera, but I'll put it right here. This little gadget right here, this is what you need. Because if you don't have a level surface, which I already leveled mine, if you don't have a level surface, your painting will slide off. I'm not always the biggest fan of the wiping off the bottom, and if you don't wipe off the bottom, all the drips are going to take your whole painting off the canvas, because it doesn't take your resin off the canvas when your resin drips. Eventually it stops dripping, and what's left here, as long as it's level, it stays there. Okay, now I'm going to get it from here and I'm going to put it onto my spinner, because this spiral pour has to be turned slowly while you're pouring the cup out, and I'll show you how she mixed the cup. So let me do that now. Okay, folks, I'm back. I'm going to be doing this very quickly because it's getting kind of late. So hopefully this turns out as well as Gina's did. I really hope it turns out as well as Gina's did, because that thing was totally beautiful. So I got the consistency, I believe, right? Just leaving a little mound, but the mound's disappearing quickly. It's got a nice long straight stream coming off the spoon. This is half DecoArt satin enamel and half Artist Loft white here, and this has 2-to-1 with floetrol and water. It didn't have the floetrol water mixture, because if it already has floetrol in it, I figured that I have just the water is enough to give me my consistency. And so I'm going to put a little bit of this in the cup here, and then I'm going to give a little bit on my surface. So let's do that. And I'm going to turn you back over here, and I'm going to put some in on the surface of the canvas. So let's kind of move this around, and I paint these corners because just like with the dump and swirl, these colors are thin, and because they're thin, as they're tilted, the what do you call it? As they're tilted, the colors can get thin on the edges, and then if that white canvas comes up on top, it'll reveal all this white. But if I already pre-painted the canvas, it's not really going to show up because the red is already under the canvas. So I didn't have handy dandy with me today. I decided to use the flat spatula, who doesn't have a name. So let's get back to this side. Yeah, I'm sorry about moving you around, but I don't have any room right there to mix my cup. So now I'm going to be mixing my cup. And one thing that she mentioned was that I was going to leave some left inside of here, just to go on the top, like a sandwich. So one thing she mentioned was going from the highest contrast between here and here. This is the middle one. So the highest contrast is between the white and the red. That's the starkest contrast. So I'm going to put this color in the middle, and then to go up high and let it fall in. So now I have a little bit left in there just in case I run into some problems on my corners, but I believe this is enough. So now let me bring you back here to the canvas. And so what she said was to pour fast, but turn slow. So here's the tricky part. So let me kind of give it a torch. Just added some fresh propane, fresh butane. So let's find the center. And just pour fast and turn slow. So yes, it's off center, but it's not an issue. I could always move it back to the center a little bit, kind of move it around some. Because when I turn it, when I spin it, some of this stuff is going to spin off the sides anyway. Okay. Now, kind of get it there. And one thing she mentioned was taking your time. Don't rush the process. You give it a torch. Bubbles pop up. Like I did with some of the dumping swirls, I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit. Help open up some of those delightful cells that's growing slowly. Okay, that's good. See, those cells are really starting to grow. Just let that process happen. So now, let me get it back to the center. We're gonna turn or spin it slowly. This is a 14 by 14 inch canvas. I don't know all the measurements to keep things on there, but I'm glad I did make sure I had enough paint. I do have enough paint to go off these edges. So let's do some spinning. Slow. And slow. Yeah, those corners will come off. And slow. Look at those big, beautiful, juicy cells. I'm psyched over this one. This is my very first one. Oh, I do have a little bit of a problem. So let's see if I could grab that. I thought everything was out, but it wasn't. Right here, I have a little bit of an issue. Can I get it though? Good. I think that's the only problem I had in here. So let me turn that some more. And I'm gonna try to get that imperfection off. I have plenty of paint on here, but that middle's gonna widen up very nicely. Nice juicy cells. Oh my goodness. And you guys still turn slow. You gotta be patient with it. Where I want to stop. I think I want to stop there. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Gina, so much for your technique. I'm going to put this on the drying table where it's level, and then we're going to go down for a closer look. Okay, everybody. This is the final wet result. Let me do this flyover real quick. Look at these cells. Look at the little circles, these little concentric circles, and these nice, beautiful boulder cells. I'm gonna go around this whole thing because none of this should be missed. I am very, very pleased with how this one turned out. Yes, thank you, Gina DeLuca, for your inspiration. I'm going to be doing more of these. And I have to have a little bit more control, but I think overall, this one turned out exactly or close to the way I wanted it to. Not quite as stark as the blue that you used, but I think I'm very well pleased with how this turned out. All these cells, these cloudy looking cells. As you call them, you call them boulder cells. And yes, they look like boulders. And this little spiral in the center, it's a very wonderful technique there. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Gina. And thank you for attending another adventure in the Perspectives in Pouring. Good night.